This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
As much as you want to get your house fixed, as much as you want to get your power on, you want to have you want to protect yourself, because you have the hurricane and then you're going to have a disaster after that.
Hurricane Irma has come and gone, but now a new problem may be on the way. Scammers. Natural disasters sometimes result in con artists. What you can do to avoid being taken advantage of. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on scams and ripoffs in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. 1 week after Irma, schools and businesses are open again. Life is starting to get back to normal, but wait. Bob is tracking 2 other storms heading towards the Caribbean. With more, let's go on to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. An incredible season already thus far, and it looks as though we're going to continue to see these storms developing. Once again, we have the new advisory coming out, and it is now suggesting that it's a Category 4 storm. That is Maria, now heading right toward Dominica, and then possibly Guadalupe as it makes its way off toward the northwest. You can see a well-defined eye now right there in the center. Top winds estimated to be 130, probably higher than that. Reconnaissance aircraft will be getting back into the system in about an hour from now and get a better handle as to how strong it is. Look at that satellite representation of Maria now as it makes its way. It's going to clip the northern island, the eyewall will, of Dominica, and possibly even to Guadalupe in the next several hours. The forecast path and track takes it right toward Puerto Rico, unfortunately, as a Category 4 storm, possibly even a Category 5 at this point. And there's only been 3 other Category 4 storms to ever hit Puerto Rico. This one looks like it's going to go right near San Juan and then off toward the northwest. Now, the Turks and Caicos will see some of the effects of this. The cone kind of spreads out there a little bit, but notice that cone does not include Florida, and it hasn't shifted left at all on all the hurricane tracks this past day. Looks like still a very formidable storm moving into the southern portions of the Bahamas on Thursday and then off to the northwest. We are also tracking Hurricane Jose up there off the coast of Virginia, which has recently gained some strength here with some convection developing near the center. And we have Lee, what's left of Lee, behind Maria, well to the east, which is being sheared apart right now, so that's not a concern. But again, we have to watch all these systems. It looks like right now no major impacts on us, Alan. At this point, we will see some windier conditions over the weekend, but the storm should stay far enough to our east that we won't see major impacts here. Back to you.
Bob, thank you. As Hurricane Irma approached the Suncoast, residents in Venice were surprised to learn there wasn't a shelter near them. The Venice Community Center eventually opened as a shelter for the community, but it was against the advice of Sarasota County and emergency operations officials. And Venice Mayor John Hollick is angry.
They want the city to cease and desist. Well, then do something. Get out there and do something before we have another season like we have this year.
Mayor Hollick ordered the city to open the Venice Community Center, which is rated to withstand a Category 3 storm. The county agreed to open the building on the condition Venice takes full responsibility for anything that might happen and would not provide personnel for food or water. A nursing home industry group is calling the deaths of 8 seniors last weekend an isolated incident. A meeting will be held to discuss a move by Governor Rick Scott to require nursing homes to be equipped with generators to power air conditioning systems when electricity goes out. Scott directed the state to issue emergency rules that would force nursing homes and assisted living facilities to have backup power systems to keep the buildings cool. The meeting is Friday and is expected to include nursing homes, utilities, generator suppliers, emergency managers, regulators, and government officials, according to the Florida Department Healthcare Association.
Nursing homes are very proactive when it comes to emergency preparedness. They do disaster drills, they have emergency preparedness plans. We do a lot of continuing education at Florida Healthcare Association. So this is something that they're preparing for. No one could have seen the breadth of the size of Irma and what it would do.
Legislation has been filed for the 2018 session requiring nursing homes and assisted living facilities to have generators that could supply power for 5 days. If your roof was damaged due to Irma, Operation Blue Roof may be your best bet for a temporary fix. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers program provides free tarps for homes with roof damage. They are passing them out at Bee Ridge Park until Sunday. The plan is to help storm victims patch their homes until they can be permanently repaired.
We do have leaks through the roof. So, we have water coming down into the bathroom, the kitchen, other areas. And right now, getting a temporary cover on there, you've got Maria coming up from the Caribbean. There may be other storms. Getting contractors in to do it right now could be very difficult, if not expensive.
The tarps will be handed out from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. For more information, you can call 1-888-ROOF-BLU. Hurricane Irma is having a major impact on the local agriculture industry. Farms across Sarasota and Manatee counties are still assessing how much the storm will cost in repairs and lost business. Sweetgrass Farms has been without power for 7 days, which means water pumps are useless. With thousands of plants needing water, it has been a top issue following Hurricane Irma for several farms in Sarasota and Manatee counties, especially those with livestock. Farmers still remain optimistic. Students on the Suncoast were back in class for the first time in more than a week, but many parents across the Suncoast are having to get their children ready for school without power. As a result, some kids are being fed breakfast and lunch at school. According to Brookside Middle School Principal Matthew Gruhl, it is a blessing.
It's interesting how students are coming and asking how we're doing as adults. So they are very resilient.
Gruhl adds, despite some kids displaced from their homes, they are doing well under the circumstances. If you or someone you know is still without power because of Hurricane Irma, you can now get some easy answers more easily. Florida Power and Light customers in Sarasota can talk to FPL, a representative, in person. The reps are inside a blue FPL tent in front of the Roberts Arena on Fruitville Road. You can ask them about the status of your outage and when power will be restored. You could also call FPL at 1-800-468-8243. If you don't want to wait until pickup day to get rid of your yard waste and debris in Sarasota County for free, the county says the landfill on Knights Trail Road in Nokomis will be open all week. You can drop off debris from the storm without having to go through the scale or pay a fee. Through this Saturday, the county will work with FEMA to get reimbursed. And still to come, there are a lot of people waiting and wanting to help after catastrophes, but what you need to know to proceed with caution when we come back.
The 11 o'clock advisory, the new update now is suggesting that the tornado watch is over, although sometimes tornadoes do occur outside of the watch area.
In for now, because first responders still have to assess the area.
As information is coming in, we're just trying to make sure that it gets on air, on digital, and on the phone.
Storm's impact goes well beyond, damage and power outages. It also affects sports.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received J.D. Power Awards for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 1-800-468-1930. Go online or visit a Target store today.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app.
In many ways, Hurricane Irma brought out the best of us, from neighbor helping neighbor to complete strangers, in some cases lending a hand. Now, in many ways, Hurricane Irma is bringing out the worst in a few of us. ABC7's Jess Dowdrick is here to warn you of what you should be looking for.
Alan, it's still a little bit early to know what scams are happening post-Irma, but law enforcement expects similar crimes that happened in Houston after Hurricane Harvey to happen here. So they're warning you to keep an eye out for scammers.
Hurricane Irma has come and gone, but more disaster could follow for those already victims of the storm. The culprits? Scammers, taking advantage of those who are most vulnerable post-Irma.
Somebody was impersonating Florida Power and Light, and they said they needed to go into somebody's house to get the person's power turned on, and basically what they were doing is they were taking all of their jewelry. Florida Power and Light will never ever need to come into your home.
Criminals are also impersonating organizations like FEMA and local water companies, even nonprofits claiming to be raising money for disaster relief.
What you're going to see is just random kind of emails with names that aren't real specific, programs that aren't really specific, very non-specific about where the money is going to go to. But it's such an emotionally charged issue that people grab onto it and they want to believe in the good in what people are doing, that they fall prey to it, and it's really unfortunate.
Of course, the most common scams following natural disasters like Irma are illegitimate, unlicensed contractors approaching you, offering their services.
Basically, they would come to your door and say, hey, I see you have a tree down, let me help you with that. You know, give me money up front, I'll take care of the tree, I'll be back later. And next thing you know, you've given them money and they've left and they haven't done any work.
But it's easy to tell who's a fraud and who isn't.
You're going to want to ask them for a copy of their state license. They'll have an identification card. You're also going to want to get a copy of their general liability, their workers' compensation.
Contractors who aren't licensed usually aren't insured, which means they could end up costing you extra thousands of dollars.
So you do not want to let someone on your home, on your roof, or doing work at your home if they're uninsured. That simple $1,000 repair bill can turn into thousands of dollars if they get hurt at your home.
If you visit myfloridalicense.com, you can check the legitimacy of the contractor you hire and see if they're legally licensed.
You never want to pay a contractor ahead of time, in cash especially. If that contractor says they need money to buy supplies, then what you should do is say, give me the list of the supplies you need. Go out and buy them yourself and say, the supplies are at my house, you're welcome to come.
The Better Business Bureau of West Florida also has a list of ratings for local companies.
We rate companies from A+ through an F based on information that's submitted to the Better Business Bureaus from consumers and people in the community. So if it's a company that's not responsive to their complaints, if they're unlicensed and we know about it, if they're doing bad business practices, then that's going to be alerted in their business review.
You can also call either Sarasota or Manatee counties to check if a contractor is licensed. Here are the numbers you need. Sarasota County, 861-5000, and Manatee County's number, 748-4501, extension 3800. The state government is cracking down on these scammers post-Irma, increasing the penalty if they're caught.
Governor Scott issued a declaration, an emergency declaration. Under that declaration, anybody caught doing unlicensed work is immediately charged with a third-degree felony. So that is moved up from a normal misdemeanor.
Local law enforcement is also taking the crime very seriously.
If you see something, if it doesn't seem right, if it doesn't seem right, if it doesn't feel right, and you think you're being a victim of some kind of a scam, go ahead and call us.
The number for Sarasota County Sheriff's Office is 316-1201. Manatee County Sheriff's Office, 747-3011.
As much as you want to move forward and get everything fixed, if you don't get it fixed right, you're going to have problems for years from now. If your roof's not done correctly, it'll start to leak 2 or 3 years from now. Or if the electric's not done correctly, you're going to have a fire. So you want to make sure you're dealing with competent people.
Now, it's likely that specific scammers will emerge the further we get into recovery post-Hurricane Irma. Now, we will continue to warn our viewers about those specific individuals and companies as they're caught.
Jess, thank you. Everything you need to know from the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, the Better Business Bureau, and our own consumer watchdog when we gather at the Trapezoid.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I'm creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah, yeah.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-683-9262.
When you want to get away from it all, to a place where you can do everything, or nothing at all, surrounded by natural beauty and all the modern amenities you might desire, then you'll want to be here at the Wanna Be Inn on the beautiful shores of Manasota Key, Florida. To plan your escape, log on to wannabein.com.
It's Willamania at the Players Center as the Will Rogers Follies takes the stage September 27th. Part homespun humor and part Ziegfeld Follies, this toe-tapping Tony Award musical is the start of our wild Broadway series. So call the Players at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. You need to catch Willamania.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking an account executive to join our winning sales team. This is an outside sales position covering the Tampa DMA. Visit mysuncoast.com/job-of-the-day to apply.
Welcome back. Friends, neighbors, and in some cases strangers came to each other's aid during Irma and approached soon after she left. But when it comes to fixing roofs or water damage and other things, you need professionals. The problems are that professional scammers and con artists are out there all too willing to take advantage of Suncoast residents battered and bruised from living through Irma and picking up the pieces afterwards. And joining us for more is Lieutenant Brian Gregory of the Sarasota Sheriff's Office, Brian Oglesby of the Better Business Bureau, and our own consumer watchdog ABC7's Jerry Zivick. Thank you all for joining us. You know, I want to ask you all this question following Jess's story. I get the message in terms of before you hire anyone, before you give out any cash, check out their credentials, do all those things. But there are so many of our friends and neighbors right now who are in a desperate situation, whether it's with water damage or a tree on their house. How do you separate your need to be careful from your need to get it done now? Lieutenant?
People are very vulnerable right now because of the situation that they may be in, depending on their circumstance. So it is something that people can take advantage of. However, you know, the need for them to get it fixed should not, you know, they shouldn't put themselves in more danger, or because we don't know what kind of, you know, you don't know who you're letting through that door. If you have some water damage, who are you letting through that door? If you just let anybody come in who maybe unsolicited comes to your door and asks for help.
Well, let me ask you a question. What do you know about a person if they do have a state license or local permit?
Well, Brian over here with the Better Business Bureau, we talked in the message before, talked about vetting these people ahead of time, knowing a business that you're going to hire, having them come to your house. Many of these scams and these problems come from people who unsolicitedly come to your door, and they're the ones that come and seek you out. The people who have a tree on their home or have water damage or have no electricity, they need to be proactive and seek help first before having somebody come to the door, and then you don't know who you're letting through your door.
And Brian, let me ask you, you know, a lot of us have used the Better Business Bureau many times to at least get the ratings. That is the place to start. It may not be the complete picture, but it is a good place to start.
Yeah, and I think it's important is you can also reach out to family, friends, and neighbors as a starting point if you have an immediate need for a situation. But when you're making a decision to do repairs and finalize things, that's where you need to hire the professionals, the licensed professionals, quality companies that you can trust, because you're relying on these repairs to last you and for your insurance company to cover those repairs. So if you hire the wrong individual, then your insurance company may not cover it, and then if they get hurt while they're doing those repairs, that simple $1,000 job can turn into thousands of dollars for covering their medical bills.
And Jerry, the thought also occurs to me in terms of you don't know who you're letting into the house, whether they have a criminal history or any other kind of matter, and that poses a real danger, especially in this area where we have so many seniors living.
Well, I think what's often overlooked is there's something called a public adjuster. Almost everybody that has a home has some sort of homeowner's insurance, and they're all going to have a problem, in all likelihood, of negotiating a settlement. I read statistics that in claims over $30,000, over 50% of people have problems. So you hire a public adjuster who has a list of tradespeople that they can call and help you navigate the whole insurance maze. This would be a way for an elderly person to handle this.
All right. We are just getting started with our conversation. We'll have much more on post-Irma scams right after we check the First Alert weather status.
Are you getting the most out of your Medicare plan? Are you sure? Many people with Medicare are eligible for plans that include extra benefits in addition to those found in original Medicare. Benefits like dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free with no obligation to enroll. In addition to hospital and medical coverage, at no extra cost, you could also get coverage for prescription drugs, dental, hearing, vision, and more. In many areas, plans with benefits are available with $0 copays for many services, $0 monthly premiums, or $0 deductibles. That's hospital, medical, prescription drug, dental coverage, and more included in one plan with premiums that may be as low as $0 a month. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free and there's no obligation to enroll.
Call 1-800-620-2254. That's 1-800-620-2254.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Ray Collins. Irma might be gone, but the cleanup continues across the Suncoast. We'll tell you when storm debris will be hauled away tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
Well, hurricane season's far from over. In fact, it's quite active right now. We have Jose skirting up the east coast of the United States and Maria to talk about as well.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Our conversation on post-Irma scams continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harron. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. A beautiful day today. Lots of sunshine out there. High pressure and dry air has moved in across the Suncoast and looks like it'll stay that way for one more day. There are a few isolated showers well inland, but with this dry air in place, we're not expecting any widespread rain event. Along the East Coast, the actual trough of low pressure left behind from Jose continues to bring some rainfall into the East Coast. And some of those showers I mentioned making their way into DeSoto County now near Arcadia. Just one or two lone showers there. Those will be winding down here in the next couple of hours as they push to the south and southwest at this point. You see the heavier rain along the east coast, and that's pretty much where it will stay through the night. I mentioned that dry air. You can see it's all covering much of Florida right now and out in the Gulf of Mexico. This is thinning out, so we'll start to see a return of some moisture, and a few possible showers comes back into play on Wednesday and picks up a little bit on Thursday. Well, the overall satellite imagery is showing a lot of sunshine around across the entire Gulf of Mexico right now, and it looks like another sunny day expected for us tomorrow. The evening forecast, pretty mild. Temperatures around 78 by 11 o'clock, just a few clouds in the mix at 11 o'clock. And currently at the airport, we have sunshine and 83. The dew point temperature at 72. That's a little bit lower than average. And the winds out of the northwest at 14. The pressure has been holding steady right around 29.91 inches. The high and low were right at the average today. 89 for a high and 74 for a low. And as far as rain goes, it's been dry over the past couple of days, but not for the month. 8.75 inches so far, well above average, and well above average for the year, nearly 15 inches of rainfall. Well, it's been an above average hurricane season. This is an incredible rapid intensifying storm right now. It went from just a hurricane yesterday to a major Category 4 hurricane in less than 24 hours. That's something you don't see very often, and boy, we've seen it this year. This is the fourth category storm that we've seen in the last 6 storms, and we've had major hurricanes out of 5 of the last 6 hurricanes, which is a near record, and this one's headed right for Dominica. A Hurricane Hunter aircraft is investigating this right now. More than likely, they'll find winds higher than 130, probably in the neighborhood of 145. This could become a Category 5 hurricane once again over the next 24 hours as it moves right through Dominica and then possibly Guadalupe and then off toward the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, eventually heading right toward Puerto Rico. The eastern tip there, San Juan, could get the direct hit from this hurricane by Thursday, with 155-mile-an-hour winds, gusts as high as 170 with this storm. And the forecast center line continues to move it well east of Florida. There are no models, by the way, taking it into Florida, which is good. You know, with Irma, there was a couple always hanging out toward the west, and it certainly did follow that path. But high pressure east of this system is weakening due to Jose being in this area for so long. There's still a little bit of a low pressure trough there, so that's weakening the western edge of that high pressure, which means there's little or no chance for it to head toward Florida. But we'll still have to watch it nonetheless. Whenever a storm is close to us, it bears watching. And as I said, most of the models keep it east of the northern Bahamas and then takes it off toward the north. And there's a lot of uncertainty as to what it will do once it heads off in that general direction. Again, Jose is still out there spinning around and continuing to do a loop. It's more of the circle of uncertainty, we call it. It will still be a low pressure area off the coast of Virginia there in 5 days. Winds out of the northeast tomorrow at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be 2 feet or less with a moderate chop. The water temperature at 84 degrees. The UV index will be high at 10. So good beach and boating weather tomorrow. Low tide upcoming at 6:57. Tomorrow morning, sunset will be at 7:31, just a few minutes from now. Mostly fair, mild tonight, 72 for a low. We'll start off with sunshine tomorrow, just a few clouds. It will be warm and a bit breezy. North winds 10 to 15. The extended forecast calling for gradual increase in rain chance. Fall arrives just after 4 p.m. on Friday, and then it turns a bit windy as a result of Maria passing to the east of the state on Sunday and Monday. We'll be right back after this.
40 million. That's the number of free phones still available and the number of how many Americans can still get prescriptions free.
Free could be wonderful.
That's why I'm still working at 77 years old to pay off my prescriptions.
I needed to have a prescription filled and I had to leave because I couldn't afford it.
Call now and see what's available for you. Free prescriptions. Over 10 million people get prescriptions free, and the program has expanded so another 40 million can. Free dental. Over 15,000 dentists have provided over $330 million in free dental work. Free cell phones. 40 million free cell phones are still available with free minutes and more.
Free cell phone would change my life right now because it is something I cannot afford to get.
Medical supplies like back braces, knee braces, and diabetic supplies may be covered too. The free RX Plus hotline has saved callers over $12 million on their prescription costs. These free programs are now available to 40 million more people. Call now.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC filter hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job. I am Goodwill, yeah.
It's rainy season on the Suncoast. Storms can pop up at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's just rain. Sometimes it's much worse. When severe weather strikes, trust ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Welcome back. We have seen so many stories about friends and neighbors helping out each other before, during, and after Irma. Now get ready for the rip-offs, con jobs, and shoddy work. Joining us for more is Lieutenant Brian Gregory of the Sarasota Sheriff's Office, Brian Oglesby of the Better Business Bureau, and our own ABC7 consumer watchdog, Jerry Zivick. So I was telling you folks during the break that on 75, I've been seeing a lot of out-of-state trucks coming in, like water, restoration and so forth. And Brian, I would imagine that raises an interesting issue in terms of, if it's one thing if you're seeking a local company, but you have probably a lot of companies from out of state seeing the need in Florida and coming into the state. How do you tell the good from the bad?
Well, if you're checking out if it's a good company or not, that's where you do your homework and your research. You go online, you search the company, you add the word review or complaints to see what other people are saying about those companies. You go to the Better Business Bureau, see what kind of information we have on them. But more importantly, depending on the scope of work they're doing on your home, are they licensed to do that work on your home in Florida? If these guys are coming from out of state into Florida and they're doing any type of electrical, plumbing, roofing, anything structural, those are all going to be regulated by the state of Florida. And these local licensed contractors know the permits that have to be pulled, know the regulations that are intact to do the right repairs to your home.
Well, who is out there making sure that these companies are doing the right thing?
So the Better Business Bureau is out there doing that research. We have 100 offices throughout the U.S. and Canada. So we have a file on these companies no matter where they're located. So if these companies are doing shoddy work in other areas, the Better Business Bureau has a network and information on these companies. So if you do that research, you're going to find that information.
But, Lieutenant, I would imagine this is an issue which, how could any law enforcement agency keep up with who is coming into the state like this?
As far as law enforcement is concerned, we don't necessarily get into that. We always, it's when someone becomes a victim is when either we're trying to prevent them becoming a victim, or once they become a victim, that's when we get involved and we try to identify.
So what level do you have to get to before, whether it's the sheriff's office or a local police department begins a criminal investigation to see if there were laws broken here? It
starts at just suspicious activity. If you see something you think is suspicious or it doesn't seem right or it doesn't appear right, go ahead and call us, and that will at least start getting somebody there to make sure that they are safe. If you've already been a victim of a crime, you make the report through the sheriff's office or your local police department. Make your report, and it will be assigned to a detective to follow up to try to identify who the suspect was, identify if we have a crime, what type of crime that would be, and then go forward with prosecution.
Jerry, there are so many of our friends and neighbors right now who are going to be dealing with insurance claims there, and I'm looking at a staggering pile of papers in front of you, which really is reflective in terms of most of our insurance policies.
Well, I challenge anybody to read these insurance policies. These are just 2 pages from a 45-page insurance policy that we have at home. And you can read it and you won't understand it. What it gives in one paragraph, it takes away in another. The way around this is you want to be in a situation where if the agent says you're covered for flooding, well, a lot of times you need a special endorsement for flooding, and then it has to be hooked up with FEMA. Or if it says your lanai is covered, a lot of times the lanai is excluded. Almost every policy has a special hurricane endorsement, where you thought it's $1,000 deductible, it's really $8,000 when there's a hurricane. So whoever sells you this policy, you should write them a letter. Dear Agent X, You said that I'm going to get flood insurance, wind insurance, everything that they represented is in that policy, and send a cover letter to say I'm buying this insurance based on that.
Do you suspect there are a lot of people out there tonight who are going to find out the hard way that they are not covered for what they thought they were?
I think it's human nature. You want to try and save money, so you're going to hear what you want to hear what the agent said. I think a lot of times, because these policies are so difficult to read and understand, that the agents sometimes themselves don't understand. So that's why you have to cover yourself, because if the insurance company's not covering it, then the agent has insurance.
Let me ask you all about another issue, and that is charitable giving. And I would imagine there are a lot of people on the Suncoast, after what happened in Houston with Hurricane Harvey, wanted to do what you could do in terms of giving to charities. Now, you know, it may also pop up, even though we are basically the victims of Irma. Charitable giving and fly-by-night charities has always been a real problem that I don't know if this state or any state does a good job in terms of keeping up with real time. Is that your experience, Lieutenant?
We don't see a whole lot of that. I think one recommendation that I would say is stick with a charity that you know is reputable, has been around a while. If it's an unsolicited contact from a charity you don't know, it makes it very hard to vet that charity, and I would stay with, encourage viewers to stay with somebody who they know.
I would imagine the names are already popping up, because of Irma or because of Harvey, that these would not be charities that you would know prior to this, because even if the intention is sincere, if you're dealing with this hurricane or the last one, it would be a new entity. What do you do aside from, the Lieutenant is saying only give to charities that you know of, but when these other organizations knock on your door or send you mail or give you a phone call, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, the people who are knocking on the door, you can't, in my opinion, you can't trust those people necessarily. It's very difficult because you don't know them. You can't vet these people.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't go with the buzz and what's out there. Anytime there's a natural disaster or a buzz happening in the media, scam artists are going to see that as an opportunity to take advantage of consumers in all different industries, whether it be charity giving, contractors, etc. You as a consumer have to stop for a minute, think about what offers being made, what's being asked of you, and do a little bit of homework and research. Ask questions of the contractor or charity. The ones that are legitimate are going to be transparent. They're going to provide you with the things that you need, and they're going to give you that information so you can make an informed decision. And that's the important part of it. You have to ask questions as a consumer.
There are a number of issues in dealing with hurricane recovery that are really not the jurisdiction of the sheriff's office or local police, but broader in scale in terms of price gouging and so forth. How good has the Attorney General's office in general been in terms of going after, whether it's gas stations that are overcharging or other manufacturers of things that you need to have that the prices may be way out of line?
The Attorney General's office has set out statistics that said that they have received over 8,000 complaints of price gouging. And that's an extraordinary number of complaints. How they'll ultimately go after it and prosecute it, I don't know. But it's, people will take advantage. This is the perfect storm for the scammers to come out. I was reading a statistic about Harvey. There's over 500 domain names that were taken out with the name Harvey in it. So you have to suspect everything. Don't ever click a donation. If you get an email soliciting, don't open that email. The Need Today will also be available in a day or two to make sure your money is going where you want it to go.
Jerry brings up an important point. A lot of these times, these scams and ripoffs are coming via email right now, and as we know, in so many ways, can lead to other problems.
Yeah, it's very difficult when it comes from email because now you don't know where the computer is, where is it being sent from. It makes it very difficult for law enforcement for any kind of prosecution purposes. It's a long process.
Okay, we have to take a quick break, and we'll be back with final thoughts when we return.
When you want to get away from it all, to a place where you can do everything, or nothing at all, surrounded by natural beauty and all the modern amenities you might desire, then you'll want to be here at the Wanna Be Inn. on the beautiful shores of Manasota Key, Florida. To plan your escape, log on to wannabein.com.
We asked our customers, why is Consumer Cellular your choice in wireless?
Consumer Cellular helps me save money.
It's simple and easy.
It is reliable.
I like the fact that there are no contracts.
By moving to Consumer Cellular, my cost is 50% less than it was.
They fit the plan to you.
I have everything I want with Consumer Cellular.
Their customer service is fabulous.
Customers are their #1 priority.
I really feel like they take care of me.
We're proud to have received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 3 times in a row.
We really appreciate the AARP discount.
AARP members get exclusive discounts.
It's easy to switch. You could use your own phone and you could use your own number.
Wild horses wouldn't drag me away from Consumer Cellular.
Go with Consumer Cellular.
You're going to save a lot of money.
Switch today. It's all backed by a 30-day risk-free guarantee. Call 1-800-368-8758. Go online or visit a Target store today.
As Hurricane Irma tore through the Suncoast, ABC7 First Alert Weather was here for you, tracking Hurricane Irma on the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app and sending push alert updates on the storm, providing life-saving tips and non-stop coverage on air, online, and on all your digital devices. Plus, we answered thousands of your questions during our Hurricane Helpline. We kept you informed every step of the way. ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you when you need us most.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. So, Lieutenant, let's start with you. From a law enforcement perspective, what do you want people to know now as they basically put their homes and their lives back together?
Yeah, the message I would say is that, and the sheriff's office would like to say, is that in this time, people are very vulnerable. It's now time to heighten your awareness to some of these scams that could people could come and take advantage of people. So heighten your awareness. If you see something, or if you think that something is occurring right now, if you feel like there's suspicious activity going on, make that phone call. And post of course, if you feel like you are a victim of a scam, go ahead and contact us. Make sure you make a report, because sometimes people, either they're embarrassed to make a report, if they've done something wrong, sometimes they don't want to report or they don't want to be bothered. Make the report. Sometimes your report could be the missing link to link other crimes together to solve a case.
So, Brian, that raises a really interesting question. How busy has your switchboard been for the last week or so since we've been coming out of this? Are you seeing a pickup in the number of people both reporting problems or at least trying to check out companies?
Well, right now consumers are calling us more than ever before, and that's what we want them to do. An educated consumer is going to make the right decisions. And reporting scams, consumers need to be the hero. The best defense against scams is reporting it, letting other people know about it, and the more people know about it, the less people fall for it. Better Business Bureau has a product called BBB Scam Tracker. You can search it online, you can report it online, and we're going to gather that information, see what scams are happening in the community, and then we can get that back out to the media, we can get it out to law enforcement, and we can help get that information out there.
And Jerry, you made a good point to us during the break in terms of crowdsourcing. All these things do pop up there. A lot of it is good, some of it is not. What does crowdsourcing do?
Well, crowdsourcing is where you can go and start your own page and have the ABC block and help rebuild that block. A lot of times they're fake pages. Now, what's interesting is GoFundMe. If they find out that it's a scam, they will actually refund your money. So if you're going to do crowdsourcing, you might want to do something that's on a GoFundMe page.
Much, gentlemen. Before we go, we want to share with you some thoughts about Friday's show. A lot happened last week in Washington. President Trump doubled down on his comments about Charlottesville. He spoke with Democrats about a deal on DACA and touched down in Florida to witness the damage left by Hurricane Irma. We went to Facebook to find out what you thought about the president's 34th week in office, and here's what some of you have to say. Elizabeth says, I think he is doing great. Others seem to forget he is not a politician. Do you know how great it is to see someone not groomed generation after generation to be a politician? And Mary responds, "You are right, he is not a politician. Now he is. He is very immature, spoiled man who refuses to rise above the petty comments and act like a president." And Janet gets the last word tonight by saying our country no longer knows how to have a real argument without name-calling or learning to accept that people have different views. It's sad. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions. They're on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank all our guests for being here tonight. Lieutenant Brian Gregory of the Sarasota Sheriff's Office, Brian Oglesby of the Better Business Bureau, and our own ABC7 consumer watchdog, Jerry Zivick. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather. Plus, President Trump had a day filled with meetings with world leaders. Stay with us.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
So you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid, your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-319-0237.
Independence U for an independent you.
Call 1-800-319-0237.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch ABC7 wherever you are, on our live stream, on mysuncoast.com, on the ABC7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, dining with recipes, and My Suncoast Restaurant Guide. Visit mysuncoast.com. Click on the Apps tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for Apple and Android. Keep up with your investments and market trends by watching the ABC7 Stock Report. Get a recap of all the day's stock market activity. Be sure to watch your Suncoast News at 6 for the ABC7 Stock Report, sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our first alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Well, sun's starting to set a little earlier, so we're getting some nice sunset photos coming in. This one from Fred Seeger, who is a fairly regular contributor, and this one from Casey Key. Pretty nice out there, hardly any clouds around at all. There were a few fair weather cumulus clouds coming in from the northeast, basically across Lakewood Ranch earlier, and there are some showers to the east of Lakewood Ranch. You see that activity developing there in Arcadia and then well off into the east coast near Palm Bay, and they're pushing basically to the south-southwest at around 10 miles an hour. Live sweep of the radar indicating nothing going on really in Manatee and Sarasota counties, although there's one little shower right there by Lakewood Ranch. That's what we caught on that, again, the time lapse. A few isolated storms popping up in the eastern portions of Manatee and Sarasota counties at this hour, but not a lot. One or two lone showers are possible across the area. Not a lot of widespread rainfall. It's just too dry out there to really create any significant storms at this point. You can see that dry air, though, starting to thin out a little bit. And it looks as though we'll see a little bit better chance for some showers and storms coming back into play on Wednesday. Satellite imagery not showing many clouds around, and the planner calls for just a few clouds up until 11 o'clock, 78 degrees. Temperatures will stay into the upper 70s through 11. 83 degrees right now, the dew point temperature at 72. Winds are out of the northwest, a little bit of a breeze at 14, and pressure 29.91 inches. The hourly forecast overnight calling for generally fair skies, temperatures dropping down into the low 70s, which is really nice, and we'll see some sunshine to start the day off. Well, unfortunately, we're not going to see much sunshine in Guadalupe and the Dominica. They're going to see this storm, a major Category 4 hurricane at this point, could go even higher to possibly a 5 as it makes its way off toward the northwest. This is the GFS model, again, showing it moving right through Puerto Rico and then taking off through the southern Bahamas and then staying well east of the United States, at least Florida for that matter. Down the road, it's a different story. Now, the European model shows it doing a similar path and track, and then kind of joining forces with what's left of Jose off the coast of the Carolinas. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But for us, both of those very reliable models show the storm well east of Florida. Now, we'll get windy on Sunday and Monday, but just a little bit of a breeze, not too terrible as far as that goes. But again, the forecast path and track, 155-mile-an-hour winds expected on Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and then approaching the U.S. and British Virgin Islands with 155-mile-an-hour winds. That's close to Category 5 status. I wouldn't be surprised to see it bumped up to that. And then right through the eastern portions of Puerto Rico. Now, that's the middle line. It could be anywhere within sight here at that point. And as we push it out further, there's a fairly big spread, a couple hundred miles either side of that line from the central Bahamas all the way well east into the Atlantic at that point as a Category 3 hurricane. The models continue to show this turn to the northwest around the periphery of the western edge of a high-pressure ridge, which should drive it off toward the north and northwest in time. But some of them are starting to hint a return back to the United States, so it bears significant watching there on the Carolina coast especially. And Jose, well, it's just kind of hanging out there, and it will do so. It will become extratropical, I believe, in the next few days, and then kind of just hang out there as far as that forecast goes. We are not going to see that be a big problem for us, obviously, but it is causing problems for the Northeast, where they are under some tropical storm watches and tropical storm warnings all the way up to Cape Cod. The forecast for boaters, northeast winds turn to the north tomorrow at 5 to 10 knots. We'll have a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters. Water temperature now at 84 degrees. The UV index will be at 10. And the tide's upcoming. The high tide will be at 12:54 and the low tide at 6:57. Tonight, mostly fair and mild, 72 for your low. And the extended forecast calling for a gradual increase in chances for rainfall through Thursday. And then Friday at 40%, same on Saturday. It will turn windy on Sunday and Monday. Alan will be back with primetime headlines right after this.
It's Lincoln's summer sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sport Utility for $269 per month, or a 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Sun Coast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better. With amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Checking our primetime headlines, President Trump is spending his first day at the United Nations with the start of the General Assembly. In a meeting with the UN Secretary General, he called for reform and even touted his own business interests. ABC's Ariel Reshif is with the UN with more on the president's agenda.
President Trump spending his Monday at the United Nations with rapid-fire meetings on the sidelines of the General Assembly. During his debut at the diplomatic epicenter, the commander-in-chief pushing for reform.
We encourage the Secretary General to fully use his authority to cut through the bureaucracy, reform outdated systems, and make firm decisions to advance the UN's core mission.
He also had this to say about his own real estate.
I actually saw great potential right across the street, to be honest with you, and it was only for the reason that the United Nations was here that turned out to be such a successful project. So
the America First president striking a
Ambassador
slightly
Haley.
softer tone than his anti-UN rhetoric on the campaign trail.
The United Nations is not a friend of democracy.
Today, one-on-one meetings with French President Emmanuel Macron and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I have to say we're going to be discussing many things, among them peace between the Palestinians and Israel will be a fantastic achievement.
The GA plenary coming amid a crescendo of tensions with North Korea, the U.S. calling for tougher action against the defiant regime.
If the United States has to defend itself or defend its allies in any way, North Korea will be destroyed.
And conducting joint military exercises with South Korea overnight. Trump working through the evening, a rigorous agenda for world leaders even called speed dating from hell. President Trump will hold a working dinner tonight with Latin American leaders. All of this coming, of course, ahead of his much-anticipated speech here tomorrow. Ariel Reshef, ABC News, the United Nations.
Monday marked the fourth day of protests in St. Louis in the wake of Friday's acquittal of an ex-police officer, Jason Stockley. The white police officer was found not guilty in the shooting death of 24-year-old Anthony Lamar Smith, who was African-American. Organized protesters were peaceful on Monday after Sunday night's demonstrations turned violent. Police say demonstrations during the day have been well organized, but outside agitators are causing trouble at night. Authorities say more than 80 people were arrested late Sunday as protesters attacked police, broke windows, and flipped over trash cans. At least 3 people are dead after 2 buses collided in New York City. Firefighters say 16 other people were injured Monday morning, and some victims are in critical condition. A picture posted by the fire department on Twitter shows a damaged city bus next to a private tour bus that plowed into a storefront. Firefighters say a small fire broke out in the building after the crash, but they put the flames out. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Coe. Thanks for joining us, and have a good night.